Hey everybody, this is Mr. Rockenstein and this is my flipped classroom. I want to welcome Mr. Moore's classroom as well. We are a team. We are working on fractions right now, and today's lesson is about how to find a common denominator. We've got one goal today. That goal is that you will be able to find a common denominator for any two fractions. Quickly, I want to talk about why you would want to find a common denominator for fractions so that you know why we're doing this. There are two reasons. The first reason is that it's the most accurate way to compare fractions. So for example, if I've got 5/8 and 7/10 and I want to decide which one is bigger, it can be difficult using the strategies we've already had. If you compare the numerators, they're different. Denominators, they're different. If we compare them both to 1/2, well, 5/8 is one piece bigger than 1/2 because 4/8 would be 1/2. 7/10 is two pieces bigger than 1/2 because 5/10 would be 1/2. And so you might say to yourself, well, 7/10 is bigger because it's got two more pieces than 1/2. And this one only has one more piece, except that eighths are bigger than tenths. So these fractions are so close, it's hard to tell without a common denominator. And we'll figure out the answer to this question later on. The second reason you would want to find a common denominator is that it's the first step in adding and subtracting fractions, which is the next thing we're going to be working on. We're not going to work on it today, but it's the first step in adding and subtracting fractions. All right, so there are three ways to find a common denominator. The first one is to change one denominator into the other. The second way is to use your math facts to find a common denominator. And the third way is to multiply the denominators together to get a common denominator. So let's look at some examples of all three of these. All right. So one way to find a common denominator, and by the way, a common denominator means that the denominators are the same. So I'm trying to make the denominators the same. One way to do that is to just change one denominator into the other. So is there any way I can make 2 into 4? Well, there is. I can multiply by 2. And we've learned that if you do something to the denominator, you need to do it to the numerator and vice versa. So I'm going to change 1/2 into 2/4. I multiplied the top by 2 and got 2. I multiplied the bottom by 2 and got 4. So now it's pretty easy to see which one of these two fractions is bigger. Is 2/4 bigger or 3/4? Well, 3/4 is bigger. Let's try this one. Can I change 9ths into 18ths? Yes, I can. Doing the same thing I did at the top. 9 times 2 equals 18. So then I do it to the top. 3 times 2 equals 6. So which one is bigger, 6/18 or 10/18? It's pretty easy to see that it's 10/18. So if you can, it's really easy to change one denominator into the other, like we did here. The second way is if you can't change one into the other, or you don't want to, you can use your math facts to find a common denominator. For example, what is something that you can change both 4 and 8 into? Well, I know with my math facts that I can change both 4 and 8 into 16. So I'm going to make a fraction with 16ths and do the same thing here. And I'm going to change 4 into 16 by multiplying by 4. So then I have to do it to the top. 3 times 4 is 12. 4 times 4 is 16. I know I can change 8 into 16 by multiplying by 2. So if I do that to the bottom, I have to do that to the top. And I get 6/16. So 12/16 or 6/16. Which one's bigger? 12/16. Same thing down on the bottom with 1/4 and 2/6. what can I change both 4 and 6 into? Well, I know that both of those can multiply by something to make 12. 6 times 2 equals 12, so I do it to the top. 2 times 2 is 4, so I have 4 twelfths. And 4 times 3 equals 12. So 4 times 3 is 12. 1 times 3 is 3. Which is bigger, 3 twelfths or 4 twelfths? 4 twelfths. And then the last way is if you can't really think of anything, if you can't change one denominator into the other, and you can't think of anything using your math facts that both can change into, you can do a quick common denominator, which works for any two common denominators out there. What you can do is just multiply each denominator by the other. For example, if I multiply 3 times 7, I get 21. And if I multiply 7 times 3, I'm also going to get 21. So now I just need to do what I did to my denominators to my numerators. 1 times 7 is 7. So 1/3 equals 7 21sts. And then I need to multiply this by 3. 2 times 3 is 6. So 2 sevenths becomes 6 21sts. So which is bigger, 7 21sts or 6 21sts? Well, 7 21sts is bigger. Same thing down here. If I'm going to change them both, I can just do 10 times 4, which will equal 40. And I can do 4 times 10, which will equal 40. Now what I did to the bottom, I have to do to the top. 6 times 4, 24. And 3 times 10 is 30. So which one's bigger, 24 40ths or 30 40ths? 30 40ths is bigger. All right, so let's go back to that original problem that we were working on. 5/8 and 7/10. Which one's bigger? Well, can I change 8 into 10? No, I can't. Is there something that both of them, using my facts, I can change them into? I might be able to. I could change them into 40ths, because 8 times 5 equals 40. So 5 times 5 equals 25. And I can change this into 40 by 4. I'm going to do it on the other side because I don't have enough room. Times 4 equals 40. And 7 times 4 equals 28. So which one is bigger, 28 40ths or 25 40ths? 28 40ths is bigger. Now there's another way we could do that. I'll get rid of all this. We could have also done our quick common denominator and just done 8 times 10 equals 80. 5 times 10 equals 50. 10 times 8 equals 80. And 7 times 8 equals 56. Which is bigger, 50 80ths or 56 80ths? 56 80ths. All right, so that's how to find common denominators. There's 3 ways. If you have any questions, make sure to ask them. If you need to go back and watch how to do any of these, go back and do that. See you next time.